Shalom and welcome everyone. This is another weekly summary with Justin James Garcia and
San Garcia.
so today we're going to do a special weekly summary. This is normally a Patron only benefit, but today we have some special news, so we want to go ahead and make this public and maybe give you a little teaser of what the patrons get to see every week. So we do cover all of the shows, all the books, and everything that's been released in the past week, and give updates on the Endeavor Freedom Orphanage and the various causes that we support, and some of our future plans. So we'll get started with, I guess we should talk about the coronavirus, the elephant in the room. So we do understand that there is an incredible amount of hype, whether it is supported by data or not. You know, we don't want to argue one way or another because people get their data from different sources, and we believe that we can't actually accredit any of these sources because everyone has their own agenda that they're playing at. So we personally are healthy, praise Yah, thanks to the Most High, we're doing fine here. It seems like every time we get on the internet, that's all you hear about, and it's hysteria and it's panic and everything's shutting down, and then we go out to the grocery store and life is moving on as normal, minus the fact that the toilet paper shelves are emptied. But it's just very interesting how everything's playing out. But unfortunately, the President of the U.S. did declare a national emergency, and he is seeking to limit domestic travel. So with that said, it is very possible that in the near future, some of our speakers won't even be able to fly in to Atlanta to make it for the conference. So tomorrow, Joy and I are going to be calling and talking with the representative that helps us coordinate everything at the conference center, and we're going to be discussing our options for postponing. It is an unfortunate circumstance. We definitely don't want to do that, but we can't control everything, and that is unfortunate. Would you like to say anything regarding?
Yeah, we know with regard to the coronavirus that even the flu can be more deadly with symptoms and with the effects. But certainly that does not exclude that there could have been some kind of weaponized variation of this disease and released there in China, that it has affected people in what would be extreme manner rather than the regular normal coronavirus that the world is used to. But given that, I think that the authorities are trying to stay ahead, and they are using extreme tactics to minimize an outbreak, a pandemic. And so, and also I think that part of this is they are testing, what the limits of their authority would be in declaring and countering such things if it were true, and if this was something that could really lead to the destruction of humanity in a manner that we know they have been planning, orchestrating, and that this is part of their purpose. And there have been stories and released of how even Harvard biochemists or biologists working with the Chinese military, that they could have been part of the weaponization process of creating a virus or a disease or an illness that would create something like this in the population. And they've put on the Georgia Guidestones, which we were going to visit and to speak about, that their number one agenda, the number one thing of their 10 Commandments listed there, is to reduce the population to a manageable servant class and headed over by the elite, and that they would continue with the divine right to rule and to wield authority where they can do what they want, and they could subjugate and put into place martial law or whatever. But I'm praying against all of that, and I'm praying that none of you and none of us are adversely affected in any manner, and that no one loses their lives with regard to the numbers. We don't know what's for real. And with regard to how it plays out on TV and in the media, you don't know if any of that is real either. I mean, so, but I do feel like they are most certainly using this as an agenda to roll out and to test their power, their authority. And, you know, so we have to deal with the consequences of how all that is unfolding. And so we believe that, not that we want to, you know, to postpone the conference or to push it, but it seems to be what would be best for all of us as a collective, that many, especially the military people and international travelers, not wanting to be quarantined, that, you know, perhaps moving it 3 months down the line, whatever, that it would make it more possible for us to come together in a manner where people won't be having to deal with the scare tactics or the fear and the measures that are being put out by government to limit the spread of this disease. And so that's what we are planning on doing, and we'll see how that all unfolds. I will be doing a show very soon as well. Perhaps Justin will join me, and we can have a dialogue on this, and we'll try to update as best as we can. But certainly you see in the media that the measures are extreme and worldwide, and that people are, as far as gathering in groups, all that is being limited. And so I think it's a wise decision, just to counter again if this thing has been weaponized in some manner, and that there is a level of its outreach that we're not being instructed upon or told about. And certainly, so we'll see how it plays out.
Yes, it's very interesting. Like you said, the governments are kind of testing how much power they can acquire by utilizing this type of Illuminati playing card, you know,
Exactly,
a
yeah.
virus. And we see
Right.
in Denmark, they've already gotten the authority to mandate people to get tested and to mandate people to get vaccinations.
Vaccinated. And I think that's really where this is going.
It's horrible. It's
It
really
is.
terrible. But yeah, we are praying against that, and it does seem to be targeting. Well, it's targeting everyone, I guess, but the lethality rate is highest in those who are 50 or older and who have any underlying health conditions. So we would love to see this thing go away, and
Exactly.
we want everyone to be safe and healthy, and this is in part us doing our job and keeping our responsibility of showing love to everyone. And so it's not to say 100% that we're going to postpone. We are going to have a meeting tomorrow, and then we will be releasing an official statement regarding one way or another. But this is just us sharing
Our initial thoughts.
our thoughts and an update on where we're standing at this moment.
Which is Sunday.
Yep, Sunday. So we'll be uploading this video tonight, prayerfully. But we do want to go ahead and just get through the weekly summary. It was kind of a short week. We only had a couple radio shows. We only actually broadcasted one of those to the Zen Garcia YouTube channel, and that's because Joy and I moved this week. We moved into a new home. It's actually our first home, a single family home. We were living in apartments, condos with my dad. Like, we moved everywhere, and now we finally have a place, praise Yah, to really hopefully build our family together and it's got a little bit of land to sow some seeds and maybe get some chickens. So we're really excited, but that was a large process moving. We're also closer to Zen now, so it's not an hour-long drive anymore. It's basically cut in half. So that's great too. So we're just very happy, and we've been very busy, and our bodies are very sore, my knees, but it's a great feeling, and it's definitely awesome. I'm so excited. But we didn't have internet, so we didn't get the chance to broadcast Wednesday night, but Tuesday night we still did. Wednesday night we did broadcast, but Thursday night we weren't able to. So would you like to discuss both of your shows?
Yes. Well,
How those
actually,
went?
it worked out perfectly because Wednesday night I was able to do an update with Noel Hadley on his unexpected cosmology, and he interviewed me about the past circumstances of my life and what led me to where I am today for incorporation into what will be the second book of this unexpected cosmology. And if you've not, okay, sorry about that. Just need to speak a little bit louder. I apologize. But the unexpected cosmology is a story of all the different flat earthers that were part of the movement that led to what is a great awakening of biblical cosmology, and the idea that what we have been told and instructed by education and by NASA and the neoteric scientists, the neoteric priests of Baal, the scientism is all wrong. That we are not one of 9 planets spinning in orbit around the sun, and that the earth, being motionless, is fixed under the firmament, which is a solid structure, and that the sun, along with the other luminaries, move in circle around Polaris. As my shirt, one of the ones that we just created on the geocentris, affirms. And so this truth is huge in bringing people to awareness of not only that they have been lied to, but that the truth is found within the inerrant word of the Bible, and that the Creator that inspired the prophets to reveal that truth, he also is the one that established the creation, and in the manner that he revealed within the word. And so people are now coming to understand that there truly is a creator, and that the whole concept of Darwinian evolution and that everything came about of random circumstance, all that is lie, propaganda based upon more propaganda, and that the matrix of deceit is so much that most people are being educated into a system where they accept ideology without ever second guessing the notions of whether it has any basis in truth or not. And so I applaud Noel in his efforts, and I think his book is really incredible. And I just wanted to bring one story out. It's about Shelley Lewis, who was at West Point, and she's a lieutenant in the military, and how it was that because she took 2 rounds of vaccines, it debilitated her life. And it forced her to even leave the military and to deal with lupus. And she was told that it was because of the vaccines that she has this chronic illness. And so her life story is pertinent to even what we are dealing with in this day and age, because I do think that the coronavirus is part of the agenda, is to establish a basis to force vaccination and to associate it with both passports and driver's license and travel and being able to leave not only the country, but to even go to other states. That we'll see that being rolled out at some point. And so those of you that know and have looked at in the ingredients of vaccines, that they are very toxic and dangerous to your health, and so you should avoid them as much as possible. But that was the initial show. And then that night, midnight to 2 a.m., Rob and I did a continuation of our chapter by chapter, verse by verse examination of the book of Enoch, and went into what seemed to be the judgment of the deluge that God had revealed to Enoch, and also spoke about the birth of Noah, which his name means comfort, respite. And so it would be through Noah that, because he was pure in his generations, that the seed lines would be preserved and that the giants would be wiped out, and the children of the fallen angels, that there would be a restoration of the harmony so that humanity could have a chance to then live in peace and without the worry or concern of the titans of old consuming them, cannibalizing them, or threatening them. And so we went through that and also got to where it talks about the elect one and the Son of Man, because these chapters from 40 to 60 are messianic and speak about the Son of Man and the elect one, which, again, for people that believe that Christ was just a new concept that came about with his Immaculate Conception, the stories of him coming and him being Savior Messiah go all the way back to the beginning. And they are affirmed with Adam and passed down in story to Enoch, Noah, Shem, Abraham, on and on and on, even to what we find revealed in the book of Isaiah of his Immaculate Conception, his coming, Emmanuel, God with us, all these things. And so it's a really incredible study, and soon we'll be coming up to the book on the courses of the heavenly luminaries, which I'm really excited about, because that was the premise of my 9th book, Flat Earth as Key to Decrypt the Book of Enoch. And so I'll be able to speak about in great detail the revelation of those chapters as well. So
yeah, they were definitely great shows. The first show specifically, Zen didn't mention too much, but I encourage you to check that one out if you haven't had the opportunity. Zen gave great details into his testimony, some very intimate details that even Joy and I were kind of shocked hearing for the first time. So it's definitely a pleasure to be able to hear your story and your testimony. And the study that you're doing with Rob is always a pleasure, because y'all both come from your unique backgrounds and kind of have come to believe in a lot of the same different things from your different backgrounds. Right. So it's cool to see you come together, and then you're like iron sharpening iron, yes. And we're all just trying to get sharp with you both. Right. But regarding what you were saying about Christ being from the beginning of time, it's so true. That's something that I'm going to be speaking about at the conference. I was really excited and wanted to share it with you in a couple weeks, but we might have to wait a little longer. But just one concept was, in John 1, we're told that in the beginning was the Word. Right. And the Word was made flesh. Eventually later on in the timeline of history, right, the Word was made flesh, but the Word pre-existed. Yes. And that Word is, we know, the Messiah, the Creator. So it's definitely going to be an awesome presentation, and I'm looking forward to tying all these mysterious pieces together. But we'll move on to Thursday night. I believe you had scheduled to do a show with someone, and how did that work out?
Yes, we had scheduled to do a show with Bob Sisson, and he has been working to help people with the chlorine dioxide that Laurel Austin had also used as protocol to treat her children, and which she found great benefit in doing so, her autistic children. But because Justin and Joy had already packed up and were moving, and because I wasn't able to contact Bob before the show to get his Skype information to actually do the show, we just did a random repeat. And so we'll be rescheduling with him very shortly to do that show, and Laurel will be joining me for that broadcast. And so it actually worked out, I think, in the manner that it needed to. Justin and Joy were moving, and so much going on, and I had an opportunity to continue with the work that I was doing with my book. And I so look forward to the coming of the conference as well, just because of the two things that both Justin and I will be presenting on, which again, his book on the Word of the Lord, a comparative analysis of the hidden Memra, and how it was that all of these scriptures in both the 5 books of Moshe, the Pentateuch, and then also the Psalms, allusion to the Word of the Lord has been removed, so that knowledge of his deep, intimate relationship with the patriarchs and also of Israel as a nation, all that has been skewed to where now people believe that, he just all of a sudden came upon the scene with his first incarnation, and that's absolutely not true. They knew and awaited and even had established the order of the Magi through the seed of Seth to watch for and to be vigilant for his coming, and that the knowledge of that was passed down from generation to generation. And it also shows, once you have knowledge of all this being reestablished, that Christ was intimate from the beginning, even with the banishment of Adam from paradise. He had given him promise then that became prophetic of his first coming, and that he worked with every line from Adam onward to assist. He was called the helper. So these things, once they're restored, they help you understand without a doubt that he is Savior Messiah, and that he will be judge at the end of days. And so looking forward to Justin's speech as well as mine on the vestures of light and the rod of wonder. I just did a book review a few minutes before this broadcast that you can look to for further detail on that. And that book is now available. I will be adding to it, but I did complete, as I had promised, to have it ready for the release of this conference. And so it is out there, available in both soft and hardback. You can find it on our website at sacredwordpublishing.com.
And ebook. Yeah.
And ebook, yes.
So we really appreciate you joining us. We just ask that you continue to pray with us that everything will work out for the greatest impact for the kingdom in a good way. We just all want to be faithful servants and to be aligned with the will of the Most High. So, he's called us out of the world, and we're still in the world, but we're not of the world. So we're just praying that we can continue with what he wants us to do. We want the conference, but what he wants, he knows what's best for the harvest. So we're just trying to be faithful workers, and we would appreciate your prayers for one another. We've gotten so many different types of emails of people that initially they just said, oh, we can't go because of the travel restrictions. And then other people were responding, well, don't postpone because, don't fall for the hysteria and the hype and all this. And we understand that, but it's not that everyone is scared so they don't want to come. It's just that we might not be able to host it. If the government imposes restrictions upon us, we have to submit ourselves to the governments and to those in power. So we don't want to be breaking laws, and we don't want anyone to get sick, honestly.
Or quarantined.
Yeah, or quarantined and forced vaccination, whatever it is. We just pray that we can all endure together. We know that prophecies of plagues, they came from the past, and we know that they're going to come to pass. So things are probably going to get worse. It's just how it is. We pray that we'll have peace. So we were told to pray for the peace of our cities. Let's continue to pray. And we appreciate you joining us. And we'll see you next time.
God bless all. Stay safe.
Yes. Thanks for joining. Shalom.
Shalom.